Welcome back. During an exclusive interview with Art Television, Director of the Center for International Development at Harvard University, Professor Ricardo Hosman said, Sri Lanka should adapt a flexible business environment for entrepreneurs in order to diversify its export basket. Speaking further, he also made the following statements with regard to startups in Sri Lanka.
There are two paths to diversification that seem to be more common in middle-income countries like Sri Lanka. One is that the conglomerates you have diversify. Organizations like John Keel's or Haley's, they can diversify into new areas, and that's one way of diversifying. The second one is attracting foreign direct investment, so that you can start organizations that have already some structure and presence can do things. I think we need to make the atmosphere, the business environment easier for entrepreneurs and startups and so on. But I am not so convinced that the doing business indicators capture the real problem. I think that the best way forward is to talk to the people who are trying to set up businesses and ask them what are the real obstacles that they faced. For example, in the doing business indicators, there is nothing about access to land. But access to land in this country is a problem. In some work we did, we found that, for example, pharmaceuticals are constrained by the fact that there are no industrial parks with a water processing capacity, or water cleaning and waste management, that are required by Sri Lankan law of pharmaceutical firms. So in some sense you have outlawed the pharmaceutical industry inadvertently. Those things are also not in the doing business indicators. So I think, yes, we have to make the environment easier for startups and other innovators that start small, but I think we need a push from organizations that are already much bigger.
Now let's take a look at the weekly economic indicators released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka last Friday. According to the CBSL, crude oil prices followed an increasing trend. Prices rose at the beginning of the week as ongoing production cuts by OPEC and looming US sanctions against Iran tightened the market. Towards the end of the period, Brent price increased, reaching $80 per barrel due to tightened supply and strong demand. Overall, Brent prices rose by $2.80 per barrel and WTI prices rose by $1.20 per barrel within the period. The weekly average weighted prime lending rate for the week ending 18th May 2018 increased by 12 basis points to 11.39% compared to the previous week. The reserve money decreased compared to the previous week, mainly due to decrease in currency in circulation and deposits held by commercial banks. The total outstanding market liquidity decreased to a deficit of 3.95 billion rupees by end of the week, compared to a surplus of 6.71 billion rupees by the end of last week. Moreover, during the year up to 18th May 2018, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the US dollar by 3.3%. Given the cross-currency exchange rate movements, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the pound sterling by 3.8%, Euro by 2.2% and the Japanese yen by 4.8%, while the Sri Lankan rupee appreciated against the Indian rupee by 2.3% during this period. India, China, UK, Germany and France were the top 5 sources of tourist arrivals, accounting for 50.9% of total tourist arrivals up to the month of April 2018. The gross official reserves were estimated at $9,927.3 million US as at 27th April 2018. We're going in for a short break. Do stay tuned to see how the stocks performed today after these commercials. Good evening, you're watching State of Business on Art Television. This is Zeenat Musafir and these are the headlines. NBRO issues landslide warning for 24 hours in 9 districts. Sri Lanka should adapt a conducive environment for entrepreneurs to diversify its export, states Professor Ricardo. News in details. Senior geologist of the National Building Research Organization, Dr. Gamini Jayatissa, commented on the precautionary measures taken by the NBRO to mitigate the potential risks that may arise due to prevalent weather conditions in the country.
First attempt is to identification. For identification, actually, we use some direct method, that site-specific investigations, and also landslide hazard formation mapping. Out of that, actually, based on this mapping program and all these things, so we have started mitigation, structural mitigation of landslides. Okay. So you may see along, especially along Mayangan Road, or if you go to Peradenian Town, Padiyapalal Town, and all these places, and also Garandiyal area. So we have mitigated them structurally. We have some automated rain gauges established around the country. Up to now, we have around 150 automated rain gauges. So we have early warning center established in Colombo head office, which runs around 24 hours 7, so that we are observing and monitoring the rainfall pattern within the landslide prone areas.
Speaking further regarding the landslide warning that was issued, Dr. Jayatissa stated that the warning will be in effect for 24 hours.
The landslide warning, once it is issued, it will be right until 24 hours, that is per day. And so up to now, actually, we have issued early warnings in 3 levels, that is level 1, level 2, and even the level 3 have been issued. That is for Rathapura, especially Ahalipura, Alappatha, Kuruvita, and Rathapura Divisional Secretariat area, and then Kegol, especially Bulat Kopitiya, Dehiyovita, Deranagal, and Ruwanwala Divisional Secretariat area. In Kaluthara district, Palindanora Divisional Secretariat area, Nuwara district, Ambagummo Divisional Secretariat area.
We're going in for a short break. Do stay tuned for more news after these commercials. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All Share Price Index dropped 25.99 points to close at 6,466.07, and the S&P SR 20 dropped 4.33 points to close at 3,624.41. The turnover was 524 million rupees and 16.4 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. That's all the news we have for you today. Join us tomorrow at the same time on our television. Until then, take care and good night.